Presence here, that's why I'm going for it, look. Caught the MCV perfectly, and it's swerving. Look at that.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game, and this is the first of a few games I'm going to post. I've got 2 or 3 games I'm going to post as one single post, like 3 replays, and then I'm going to post a couple more as a second post. Couple more replays, so 2 posts, about 5 games, but for this one we're on Kosovo. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using England for this one. This was actually my first game of the day as well. My opponent's got an engineer there, going straight for the closest oil derrick with a rifleman and the engineer, and then securing the central oil derrick by the looks of it. Or maybe not, it looks like a combination of the two. But their engineer's going first, that's dangerous. Now, the way I play it, I usually like to let my opponent capture this oil derrick, then move on to this one while I take this one from them. Usually works. And there you go, I've captured my first oil derrick. My opponent, I think he's blown up his engineer and killed it when he detonated the barrels by the looks of it. He's not capturing anything, he's trained his second engineer. So, that would have been captured on screen, although I didn't notice. There you go, I've killed the few rifles in position, his engineer's moved away. And his troops here are stood next to barrels, it's not wise. And an engineer's got less health than a rifleman, so if they're anywhere near barrels when they explode, it will kill them. There you go, so I've got 2 oil derricks, my opponent has trained 2 engineers and he's only just starting to capture his first. I'll leave a rifleman behind here and then place another rifleman as a backup nearby, just so I can snipe at any engineers trying to capture this back. You should also leave a guard rifle or 2 near your own closest oil derricks, but these rifles are escorting my engineer, and I'm grouping these rifles together with a few rocket troops and reinforcements, because if my opponent went War Factory first, he could have a vehicle, but he's actually gone 3 refineries. And I saw an opponent do this the other day, and it was in one of my posts. But I'm not a fan of 3 refineries first. I have used it, but I quickly came to the opinion that it doesn't suit me. I need my scout vehicle. There you go, I've got my APC. So let's just check the army values at this point. Yeah, my opponent's behind. He's got... Let's have a look at economy. He's doing better for cash, and he's actually got 3 ore trucks, whereas I've got 2. But now I've got my war factory, I'll have a 3rd one soon. But I've got the scout vehicle, of course. Now my opponent's taken this oil derrick away from me, and I'm taking this central oil derrick away from them. So it's 2 oil derricks to my opponent, 1 to me. In a moment, now it's 2 to me, 1 to them. So we've got a contest for the oil derricks. My opponent's got a ranger, and he's got his, their service depot. I'm waiting to place a structure, which I can only assume is my service depot. We've both earned 12, or my opponent's just gone to 13. We've both spent 17, earned 13, and I've got 5 ore trucks now, though. I don't believe in the 3 refineries first build. Like I say, I've tried it. My opponent clipped away my engineer at the back of my troops. He picked him off. But I saw the size of this force and thought, right, I'm not going to engage that. My opponent can keep that ranger out of attack range and still use its view range, whereas I don't have the same, I can't do the same with the APC. If he destroys it, then I'll be at a big disadvantage. But my opponent's got a larger army. He's got a nice little force there. Look, plenty of rocket troops and that. Let's have a look at his my opponent's army. Yeah, he's got more rifles and more rocket troops, not by much. But yeah, I've got some more coming now, look. So I'm beefing up my force and properly securing the MCV. Hoping that they haven't sneaked round, of course. I should have riflemen here and here. There you go, I am moving riflemen out. Oh, I've got this guy here, of course. So if the enemy would have sneaked past a force round here, but they could still have done it. They could have gone this way and through here. But, you know, I took my chance. So there's my scout rifle bumping into the enemy. Let's have a look at the army values at this point. My opponent's ahead slightly. I wasn't aware, although you can see by how cautious I'm being, that I was backing away. Now, my first expansion MCV, I haven't got my refinery set up yet, but I've got a couple of base defences, hoping to protect, make a strong point with this oil derrick. There's my expansion, but I've also got my home base MCV ready to set up here. And now my current build order, as soon as I place my first oil refinery at my expansion, which is the 4th refinery, I now build a power plant and 3 barracks straight away because I've got 4 at my home base. And that means that I need another 3 as soon as possible, so I've got 7. And when you have 7 barracks, you're building infantry as quickly as possible. And that's something I've not been doing recently. I haven't had 7 barracks soon enough, and against good opponents you'll be overwhelmed, and I have been. So, and any time you have a bit of a bad start, then it compounds the problem and means you're even further behind if you lose your APC early on, or if you suffer a defeat fighting for oil derricks. Not having 7 barracks will make that even worse. And I've noticed that problem, so I've sorted it. But you see here, look, I've got a couple of barracks, and another one should go up here, because you need a barracks with all your assets, and especially at my expansion. There you go, so I was paying attention, I wasn't missing that. But there you go, now I've got 7 barracks as soon as possible, while I've still got a decent income and an eco-transfer, so you need to do that. That's what I think is what I'm going to be doing from now on, at least for a while. Now, I sent my attack force this way, knowing, look, there's scouts, knowing my opponent will see me coming. So let's have a look at the army values. I'm ahead now by 1,000, only just. And here you go, my infantry's up front, so I need to stop that. Luckily they've stopped because they're attacking our trucks. Now I'm moving my tanks into position, and I'm still expanding this way, look. And there's the rest of my army. I'm wondering what to do with it. But here we go, my opponent's rushing reinforcements here. And I'm trying to get my tanks up front to actually make a fight of this. And there's my APC. I'm not sure if it had an engineer in that. No, he killed my engineer, sorry. Right, there you go. Now I've got 1 tank left, and I've set up base defences, but it was a little bit late, and my opponent's still pumping reinforcements into the area, so I knew I had to fall back, place defences and make a stand, while using the rest of my army to smash his home base, because I thought he must have sent everything. Absolutely everything. So while this was going on, I saw that I'd been overrun, and I used the alt move order to get the construction yard out of there, and you see it's moving straight away. It had no hope, but you know, still got to try. But I was attacking his home base and destroying it while I'm still getting reinforcements as well. So let's see if he's in low power. Yes, already. So his production is dropped, his production speed. It's going to take him 8 seconds to build a rifleman, 38 seconds to build a pillbox. You can't really fight under those conditions, but here you go, here's his response. And I thought, right, I've actually got to get out of here. I'm not standing and fighting, I wanted to save my assets. So I saw these power plants on the way, and I thought, I'm going to split my assets here, so he has to chase 2 separate forces. One of them's got a tank in decent condition. So that's going to make a nuisance of his elf. These guys have escaped, so now look, you see he's actually still distracted while I'm building up a nice army, look. You see I've got a nice lead in forces now, although we both have lost about the same amount in value. But there you go, they're still alive, these infantry. This tank, those infantry have been killed sadly, but the tank is here, and he's still alive. I'm giving orders to that, so he's going to go and check, see if my opponent has captured this oil derrick. Now he hasn't, but I didn't know that, so that's why I'm checking that out. And it's on attack anything stance, and my opponent said ouch. Let's see. Yes, he can see this attack coming, so he should be ordering his unit, yeah, straight away. Now that was sloppy of me to let him see, but It doesn't matter. I can build up another army and hit him here, knowing that he's going to respond to this, because he has to. This is one of his best expansions, look. So he has to defend it, so... There you go, look, I'm moving through. These units are going to regroup with them. So he's done right here. He's brought his construction yard back and abandoned this, so he did very well. But I've got thieves now, and they're on their way. Let's check my opponent's economy. He's got 12 grand. My opponent's got 12 grand. So I'm attacking my opponent now. They're making the best stand they can, but there you go. There's a 6.5 grand nearly. And I've got the engineer running in to see if I can get the chokehold into effect. And he's sold it. But I did get 6.5 grand, so it's alright. And there you go, I've overrun my opponent's last stand. He's calling GG. And that's that. Congratulations for each other, but I'm still playing. Obviously, I've said yes, well played, but I'm still going until it's over. There you go. So there's my first game of the day, that one. Quite a nice warm-up. Quite a nice introduction to the day's gaming. And there's the army graph. Look at that. My opponent was ahead. And that shows you a nice bit of combat. It was a decent game. I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, to have to fall back like that and for it to be nearly lose everything by because I lost that MCV, so I couldn't expand anymore. Luckily, my opponent didn't attack here because I was hitting his home base. He didn't really have much choice. But he did send that attack force fleeing. I had to run away. It was just I had another army ready by the time he'd finished with them. But there's the army graph. It shows you that's a good scrap, a good battle. There's the earnings graph, and my opponent did well. But look at that increase. Yeah, very nice. Plenty of cash there. I do like my thieves. I was being told the other day by a viewer who commented and says, when you get in your radar domes, you should really get a V2 or a couple of V2s or some air units or something, because just going straight for thieves may not always pay off, which means you're wasting your time building radar domes. But it's a unit I favour. If no one else uses them, all the better. Then, you know, all the better. That's how I see it. But I know they are right. A V2, 1 or 2 V2s would come in handy, especially as I've got a radar dome. But, you know, it's just, that was over, you know. If I'd have needed V2s, I'd have fallen back on them. I know that's not the point, but yeah, I've got 19,000 army value. I lost 3 structures, my opponent lost 18. I killed 140 units, my opponent killed 138, so you can't get much closer. It was excellent. I destroyed 48,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 31,000 credits worth of mine. Support powers, none in effect. I've got my radar dome, but as we know, I went for thieves. And in this case, it paid off. It got me a nice bit of cash. There's production. I still need I'm building advanced power plants, heavy tanks. Can't go wrong with a good old heavy tank. I've still got 2 oil derricks, the main central one and the closest one. I've got 8 ore trucks, and I earn 85,000. My opponent earned 72. I've got 10 grand cash because of that nice bit of thief work at the end. And I was at 29 actions per minute. My opponent was at 29 actions per minute. So we were giving orders at almost precisely the same rate. Very good. That's a close battle. Fair play to my opponent. Well done. So there's the first game for you. I'm going to go to a second game against a different opponent.
Terminated.
And I joined this player's game. This is a 1v1 on Sidestep map. This is an old classic map. My opponent's using Ukraine, I'm using Russia, and this is the map with the corners. The oil derricks are in the corners here, and there's a pillbox and an oil derrick in each corner. So one thing I like to do when I do build my barracks, I like to actually... My opponent's going refinery first. Right. That's why you send a rifleman straight away. And I like to send my first couple of rifles on this map. I remembered I haven't been on this map for a good while. Not too long, but a good while. And when I last used it, I hadn't been on it for a long while either. But I sent a couple of rifles straight to this to see if I can catch the engineer capturing and catch him out. Or if there's only one rifle to try and stop me or something. Because I've sent the engineer and I've got 1 rifleman to guard him. But I'm sending up a few more, look. I decided not to send so many, some of them eventually. I think I sent up a 5-stack or something of rifles. Yeah, there you go. I'm stopping the rest at my base, but my opponent's got a barracks now. Let's see if he got an economy spike. He's earned double the amount. That's 2 loads rather than 1. And now we're both, there you go. He's still one harvester load ahead. So that's, you know, that's what he's got. And I've discovered that he's not capturing any of this. And I'm sending a rifleman forward, look. This is not to investigate the enemy, it's just to guard this central valley that my opponent can attack. My opponent's doing the same, look. I decided to send him on a move command, so I've let my guy down and given him bad orders and sent him to his death. Now, he will be honoured, like, afterwards. I've got a small group there. And I'm bringing the engineer back. I've captured the pillbox and the oil derrick. Now, I should have gone and captured this one, but it looks like my enemies actually would have been onto that, and he's sent a rifleman here, very close to where I've hidden my engineer. So he's waiting to see what I'm building, I guess, and this is waiting to see when I expand. So that's nice. Some preemptive rifle placement, and here, all the way, he's going to track my entire expansion. Whereas I'm here and looking to investigate his base, and he spotted this rifleman straight away. Let's see. I've spotted a power plant. Gave his life for a power plant. Now there's this rifleman. Yeah, look, we've got 3 rifles moving forward for the enemy. And there you go, I've lost that rifleman. Did he spot anything? Yep. I've spotted a couple of power plants in the barracks. So, I've given 2 riflemen, I've given their lives to tell me that. And my opponent's got a very early service depot. He's got 1 ore refinery, yet he's got 3 ore trucks. I've got 2. So, let's see. I've got my scout vehicle, and when I move forward here, look, my opponent's built 1, and they've got a flat truck. So I heard that firing at me and thought, right, they're a pain because they can fire from a decent range. Look, you see, you can't even see them to fire back. So I need my scout vehicle up front, yet it's a bit trapped. Plus a flat truck can evade a lot of fire. You know, I don't know where he's gone. There he is, spotted him. Now, what I thought was that I'm going to send these guys through, yet leave the APC to guard the entrance. That way, if the APC attacks from behind, these guys will be able to shoot, because they can shoot further when they've got the vision range. But I actually thought he's gone around this way, and he did. So I moved in and decided to attack the ore trucks. Now I saw damage to my APC. Luckily, it just got away. Very lucky. And I decided to attack the ore trucks. Now I've got a couple of rocket troopers doing all the damage. I should have told my rifles to attack these guys, because there's only like 4 of them and a rocket soldier. There you go, there's lost another ore truck, but he's squished all but 1 rocket soldier, I think. It stopped them mining. Now he should fire again. There you go, see, they're still causing a nuisance. Fire again. No, I've told them to get out of there. Now, this force is escorting my MTV, look, my expansion. Now, my opponent's built 1 and he's got another one, so his second MTV is moving up this way. And it's well guarded. He's had these rifles in position. I've done nothing to disrupt them. And he's also tracking my expansion. I've cleared that rifle away. Building heavy tanks, and I've got my APC repaired. So these guys are moving forward, look. I'm checking for enemy base pushes, expansions and that, but I didn't see this rifleman. And I thought, that's safe enough, I'm moving forward, and decided to go on another eco raid, because my opponent's extremely vulnerable. Now he's, look at the, I was already on the economy. Yeah, he's falling way behind. He's 11,000 in earnings behind because I hit the, you know, I killed some more trucks. He's got half the amount. Yeah, and now there's that rifleman, look, attacking, but I just placed a flame tower. My opponent might not have even noticed. He was busy sending rifle scouts up. Look, he's got very little. Well, the Tesla coil will prove a nuisance for my tanks. One ready, almost ready to roll out. There it is. And is it going to be on its way? I'm sending these units, because my home base MCV should have been covered. I did order this, look, this barracks to send units up this way, but I ended up calling them to the front line, the ones that went ahead. So my MCVs were both vulnerable. My opponent could easily have had more units there. There you go. Units wiped. Selling structures. Any infantry built are going to get killed because that's the only place they can come from. That's the end. Everything else is free now. That's probably blocked by the wreck. But if it's not, I could have placed an APC there. I bet they're not in low power, though. There you go, another expansion. But at this point, they could use the construction yard and flee and set up an expansion here. Capture this. Or even fall back to... Nah, they can't. I've got the home base. They'd have to sell everything. Yeah, they're done. They know where they are. I've got too much, sadly. It just didn't go right for my opponent, that one. They got caught out by that early eco raid, which really, you know, with their build order, look, their army never really took off. And there's the earnings, yeah, not good. And I've got a decent army, so they were doomed. They were right to call it. I've got a 14,000 value army. My opponent lost 4 structures before they called it. They destroyed 7,500 value of my unit, credits worth of my units. I destroyed 16,000 credits worth of their units. No support powers. Production. I'm building basics. Let's have a look. I've still got 6 ore trucks. My opponent earned 24,000, I earned 41. Yeah, not good. Once they'd taken that damage to their economy, my opponent was at 28 actions per minute, I was at 30, so very close again for the orders we were giving. The kills are very close, look, 52 to 54, very close. It's just the damage they suffered wasn't, you know, they weren't recoverable. And I'm moving forward here, look, for another expansion. And I'm using my APC to scout for it. A bit sloppy, but at least I'm fairly confident that there's not going to be anything there to stop me. So that was the second game. I'll go to a third one because that was a brief game, this one. So I'll go to a third game for this post. And my opponent chose this map as well, like the last one. They chose, this is Eden Lake. And this is a 1v1 on Eden Lake. We're both using Russia for this game, and we've got a spectator for this game. And the next game I'm playing was against this spectator, and I played a couple of games against them, so I'll post them, those replays, I'll put into a separate post. So this is the third game, and it is actually my third game of the day. So I'll post these 3 replays as one, and then I'll post the next 2 games I had as a separate post as well. So we've got riflemen now. Like I usually do, I like to send a few rifles to hunt for the enemy engineer or wait for them, and then a rifleman to go straight for contestable areas just to see if my engineer is safe to head that way. Then the rest of my riflemen follow behind. Sometimes I press stop on the engineer and let him wait for a second or two, just so these guys overtake him. But in this case, I've got a rifleman ahead and no reason to stop. And these 3 rifles have found, you know, they've found very little, no enemy presence so far. My opponent's got a wire fence. You won't stop the Soviet war machine with a wire fence. So I'm capturing the central oil derrick. These 2 rifles are going to secure this one. And the engineer's I put him on a route that slows him down, so these guys can secure it first. Should really have a rifleman here, but this guy, look, is a bit late. Good players would know to put a rifleman here. Because obviously that's what I'm looking for, is the engineer going between oil derricks, etc. But none of that's happening. So I'm moving closer, just to see what my opponent does. And I'm capturing my second oil derrick. The engineer, there you go, he's captured. I haven't got the hospital yet. Should be on shift command to capture that straight away. Now my opponent has got a war factory and they've built an APC. I haven't got my war factory yet, and they've got a second APC there. So my riflemen up front are defenceless, so I'm getting them to run away. And I've trained my first rocket soldier, and my engineer, I'm worried, he's on the run. There's my second rocket soldier. Now the first shot should be fired, and missed. It's taken about a rocket's worth of damage. There's a hit. Yes, he's lost a good chunk of health there. Don't push it. You shouldn't push it. When I thought he'd gone away. Oh, look at that. Is he swapping them? Oh, fair enough. I didn't notice that. And he's got a service depot as well. Now you should go and repair that. What's this ant doing anyway? I scattered this time. And I've got more rocket soldiers. Look, 3 strikes at once. Now he's gone. I don't, you know, he didn't do hardly any damage at all. Now I've got more rocket soldiers. I've got a 5 of them. And my own APC now. There's no way you'd want to mess with 5. You want this repairing first. Look, he's actually taking that guy out. Very nice. Now that's gone on a long-range harvest. I wouldn't do that. Oh dear. That was the build queue for the APC to go here, then here. And his ore trucks are having to go on the same route. Now that's a bit of a mistake. That's a shame. I've never seen anything quite like that, to be fair. What's producing? Let's see. A heavy tank. Let's see if it goes this way. Surely not. There's about 10 seconds left on the build time. So you would note. There you go. Nice one. And there's the APC. Anything in it? No, he's going to clear out scouts. Now that's a good thing to do, because if you clear out your opponent's rifle scouts, they have to replace them, and it's a drain on their infantry. Now I've got this small force here, and I'm using it to secure the oil derrick without the enemy being able to see it. But my opponent hasn't captured it yet, so there's no need. But they've got this APC on the go. Let's see what they're doing. They're going for a scout. Now look, there's none of their own scouts. That's not telling them much. There's a big difference. They've got a couple of heavy tanks. And here we go. Yeah, I've got enough rocket soldiers here, but that rocket swerved and missed. And the APC escapes and again. So I've captured 3 oil derricks. I've got the hospital. There are no more oil derricks to take. And I'm moving forward with my second MCV. I've got a heavy tank built there. My opponent's got a few. 6,000 to 9,000 in army value in my favour. My opponent's gathering a force here, but they're not escorting anything or doing anything in particular. They have got their MCV ready to build. There you go. So they are clearing the way for it. Fair enough. Fair enough then. Take that back. There you go. They've got rifle scouts, look. Nicely done. This position is quite secure. They've gone for an aggressive expansion. And they're sending these scouts out, look. And they've attacked my expansion here, caught me out completely. I've still not reacted. What's wrong with me? Right, now I'm reacting. 11,000 to 16,000 in my favour. Yeah, my opponent's caught me off guard, but I'm just moving my ore trucks away and then back again. just so they're out of attack range for a moment while my army arrives, and that's it. I've just cleared that up. It's 9,000 to 17 now, but they did save 3 heavy tanks, so that's quite good. And they've got 2 more. They've probably got more than I have. Yeah, I've got 3 at the front line and 1 here, so I'm escorting my home base MCV. It's going to expand and set up here. And my opponent is moving this way for an expansion. I've got these rifle guards still in position, so I'm aware of some enemy presence here. That's why I'm going for it, look. Caught the MCV perfectly, and it's swerving. Look at that. And I've let them go. Nice placement, very nice. Barracks, flame tower, units here, very good. Now that's nice. Plenty of tanks, look, up from even screening the troops. I've got base defences on me, splitting my fire. And now things are starting to change, I'm in trouble. Look at that, they dealt with me perfectly. I've got to say, I know I did help them, and I nearly sent my APC in to capture his construction yard, but they did very well. They killed that army, and now it's 11,000 to 14, but I'm attacking here as an eco-raid, attacking their home base or trucks. Now, they have placed a flame tower, but that's not going to stop me. And a couple of units are fleeing. My APCs are still intact with the engineer inside. Yep. This eco-raid is still in position, and I'm regrouping my main army here, because I know that's going to have changed the situation with the army sizes, but my opponent's moving back with an an all-truck lock, and it's just that's why you leave your eco-raids in position. They come to you eventually. They don't even need to be this far forward. Although my heavy tank should be firing. Yep, dealt with. Now, I saw the enemy response and drew these units away. Look, there's an attack, and I'm trying to move tanks in front of my infantry. Still not right. So I've done some damage, and my opponent's not following me. His attention's over there, so I've attacked the service depot, and I've overrun him here. Will I get it? Yes. Nicely done. There's the heavy tank. You see, I'm overrunning the refinery, not destroying it. The heavy tank's getting away, and I've sent it to go on an eco-raid here. And then my opponent's selling up. Probably aware of how I use thieves. And I've got 2 war factories. And this is my build order where I get 7 barracks as quickly as possible. 1, 2, 3... 6. Maybe I've had some destroyed or something. Am I forgetting something? Why is... No. Yeah, there was an attack here. But there you go anyway, I best not miss this. There's my attack, and I wasn't sure whether I should be pressing this attack. But then I saw, you know, how vulnerable they were. And I'm moving in here, and I've sent my APC to drop off the engineer and start to capture the construction yard. There, my opponent's placing a base defence that is in range of the engineer. But now they can't place any more base defences, but the APC has drawn fire. Perfect. Now my opponent's calling it because I've captured the construction yard. Just swarm it and surround it and use the engineer. And there you go. So there's game 3 for you. That was a nice ending to that one. But I did get my radar dome set up in the centre. I've got a flame tower guarding it, a Tesla coil nearby, barracks, and it also secures the oil derrick. So I had complete control of that game. So we'll just go through the army graphs and charts. Look, yeah, my opponent was behind me, sadly. Earnings, I did okay for earnings. And I've got a fairly average army. Let's see the army value. I've got an 18,000 value army. My opponent lost 11 structures, I lost 3. My opponent killed 157 units, I killed 147, so that was good. My opponent destroyed 31,000 credits worth of my units, I destroyed 43,000 credits worth of theirs. No support powers in effect, although I do have my radar dome. I am building an airfield. In fact, it's ready to place Tesla coils, heavy tanks and troops. Let's see, I've got 7 ore trucks left and all three oil derricks belong to me. My opponent earned 54,000 credits, I earned 84,000 credits, and we're both okay for cash. My opponent was at 39 actions per minute, I was at 32 for this one. There you go, there's your stats and graphs and charts. I hope you enjoyed those 3 games, and if you like what you saw, give us a sub and a like, and take good care of yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.